If you thought royal drama was a thing of the past, think again. The palace walls are shaking, and this time, it's not a scandal whispered behind closed doors. It's a full-blown royal fallout. Reports are swirling that King Charles has kicked Queen Camilla out of the palace. Yes, out, and even forced her to return the very ring that once symbolized their controversial love story. After years of navigating scandal, betrayal, and public backlash, is their marriage finally cracking under the pressure? Buckle up, because what's unfolding behind palace gates might just change the monarchy forever. Let's dive into the shocking story of fury, defiance, and the diamond ring that started it all. For weeks, the atmosphere inside Windsor Castle had been different. Staff reported a strange energy, tense, cold, distant, whispers in the halls, uneasy glances. Even the most seasoned royal aides, who had seen decades of family strife, said something felt off. At the center of the storm, Queen Camilla. Camilla, who had once been so cautious about her public image, was stepping out more frequently. Solo engagements, press appearances, even interviews. And one interview in particular changed everything. She spoke with unfiltered confidence about her role, her influence, and her vision for the future of the monarchy. A future she described in terms that had never been agreed upon behind closed doors. And for Charles, that was a problem. From the moment one steps onto the polished floors of Windsor Castle, there is a palpable sense of tradition, history, and expectation. In these august halls, generations of monarchs have shaped the fate of a nation. Servants glide through corridors, staff members hurry about fulfilling royal duties, and echoes of past glories mingle with whispers of modern scandal. But even in a place so accustomed to drama, the events of one fateful evening sent shockwaves throughout the palace. It was an evening no one would soon forget. The night King Charles unleashed his fury upon Queen Camilla, demanding she hand over her wedding ring and leave Windsor Castle without delay. Few had seen the argument coming, and even fewer had anticipated its severity. Tensions between King Charles and Queen Camilla, simmering for some time, finally reached a boiling point. Charles, renowned for controlling the royal narrative with near military precision, felt matters within the palace were slipping out of his grasp. Camilla, more independent than many realized, had recently begun to step forward in ways that challenged the status quo. Small disagreements and unspoken resentments gradually built into a single explosive confrontation, one that left the monarchy reeling. The trouble began with a single interview. Camilla, long overshadowed by years of controversy and told to keep a low profile, decided that the time had come for her to speak openly about her role and her vision for modern royal life. To outside observers, her comments might have seemed harmless, even refreshing, but within the palace, they were viewed as a serious breach of protocol. Word soon reached King Charles that Camilla had spoken without clearance, potentially jeopardizing the monarchy's carefully controlled image. By the time Charles read her remarks, he was, according to multiple sources, absolutely livid. He felt blindsided, as though his wife had conducted palace business in public without consulting him. Tucked away in one of Windsor Castle's private studies, he pored over Camilla's statements, each sentence feeding his frustration. Normally calm and measured, Charles found himself seething. Advisors, sensing his anger, gave him space, hoping he might regain his composure. That evening, Charles summoned Camilla to one of the smaller salons near his chambers. Footmen in starched uniforms hovered outside, uneasy and uncertain what to expect. Charles was known for his practiced reserve, but on this night, tension filled the corridors. When Camilla arrived, Charles wasted no time demanding an explanation. He accused her of jeopardizing the monarchy's already fragile reputation at a moment of heightened public scrutiny. Camilla, however, refused to cower. She believed the monarchy needed to evolve, arguing that as queen consort, she had a voice and a right to define her role. She stood by her decision to speak, insisting that tradition could coexist with openness. Charles, unyielding, demanded an apology. The argument escalated, his voice growing louder than those who'd served the royal household for decades had ever heard. Suddenly, in a move that left everyone stunned, Charles insisted she remove her engagement ring, a precious heirloom that had once belonged to the Queen Mother. This ring was no mere piece of jewelry. It represented decades of struggle, love, and controversy, emblematic of Camilla's acceptance after enduring years of hostility. Yet Charles, in his anger, wanted it back. Camilla, caught between shock and indignation, slowly slipped the ring from her finger. With quiet dignity, she placed it on a nearby table, then turned and left the room. There were no final words, no pleas for reconciliation. In the hushed corridors beyond, staff members froze as they realized what had transpired. Some discreetly wiped away tears, Others hurried to prepare for whatever chaos might follow. Rather than wait until morning, Camilla decided to leave Windsor Castle that very night. She and her most trusted lady-in-waiting packed only the essentials. Within hours, a discreet royal vehicle whisked her away through a lesser-used entrance, ushering her into the night. Inside the palace, Charles retreated to his private chambers, neither retrieving the ring nor attempting to recall Camilla. By dawn, senior advisors had convened an emergency meeting, bracing for the inevitable media eruption. Damage control was the priority. After all, the monarchy had weathered storms before, Diana's tragic struggles, Prince Harry's departure, and more. But this time, the conflict was between King and Queen Consort themselves. Word of Camilla's sudden disappearance traveled fast. She was absent from scheduled engagements, and palace statements spoke vaguely of private family matters, fueling the rumor mill. Leaks from staff, shocked by the confrontation, soon reached the tabloids. Almost overnight, headlines alluded to an explosive fight in which Charles had demanded Camilla's wedding ring. The public devoured every detail, recalling the monarchy's turbulent history of scandal and heartbreak involving Charles, Diana, and Camilla. To understand why this was so catastrophic, one must revisit Camilla's difficult path to acceptance. Her love story with Charles spanned decades, overshadowed by public disapproval and Princess Diana's enduring legacy. Initially deemed unsuitable for the future king in the 1970s, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, and Charles married Lady Diana Spencer, an arrangement that ended in tragedy and scandal. Diana's famous 1995 interview, in which she spoke candidly about the breakdown of her marriage, pointed to Camilla as a major factor, searing her image into the public's consciousness as the other woman. Even after Diana's untimely death, the public was slow to accept Camilla. Palace officials made painstaking efforts to integrate her gradually. Queen Elizabeth II herself hesitated to embrace Camilla, deeply affected by the Diana years. Still, Charles persisted, unwilling to lose Camilla again. Over time, public resistance softened enough for them to marry in 2005, though with the caveat that Camilla would be titled Princess Consort upon Charles's ascension. Everything changed in 2022 when Queen Elizabeth II announced her wish for Camilla to become Queen Consort once Charles took the throne. This was significant. To many, it seemed a complete reversal, proof of Camilla's ultimate acceptance. Critics, however, argued it was an affront to Diana's memory. Then came Prince Harry's memoir, which leveled further accusations at Camilla, suggesting she had manipulated press narratives for favorable coverage, sometimes at others' expense. Though the palace never directly responded, the controversy stirred dormant resentments among the public. Against this backdrop, Camilla's unauthorized interview struck Charles as both reckless and disloyal. He viewed it as an exposure of palace affairs at a delicate moment. For Camilla, though, it was a chance to show her perspective and assert her identity, a move she believed was consistent with a modern monarchy. Their confrontation at Windsor Castle, culminating in Charles demanding the return of that historic ring, symbolized the tenuous balance between tradition and change. In the aftermath, Prince William and Princess Catherine received word immediately, dismayed by how personal issues had escalated into a full-scale crisis. William, who witnessed his parents' strained marriage and the ensuing media frenzy, understood all too well the damage a high-profile royal rift could cause. Insiders whispered that William tried to mediate, though it remained unclear whether Charles, deeply entrenched in his anger, was willing to listen. Meanwhile, Camilla maintained a low profile at an undisclosed location, shielded from the worst of the press. Her staff confirmed she was committed to philanthropic work, but offered no details on her return to Windsor. Across the media landscape, speculation soared. Was this just a brief separation or the first step toward a more permanent break? Some commentators drew parallels to Edward VIII's abdication crisis, though Charles's position seemed far more secure. Nonetheless, the monarchy's image, so carefully managed since his coronation, was under renewed strain. Questions abounded about whether the palace would publicly address the marital dispute or maintain a wall of silence. Traditionally, Buckingham Palace prefers to never complain, never explain, but in the modern world of 24-hour news and social media, ignoring the issue risked further speculation. Even so, official statements remained measured and non-committal. A short paragraph explained that Queen Camilla was taking private time, while Charles continued his public duties undeterred. In the days that followed, Windsor Castle's staff did their best to maintain appearances. Corridors were bustling with routine tasks, but an undercurrent of anxiety persisted. Senior aides worked frantically behind the scenes, contacting media outlets to soften the tone of coverage, albeit with limited success. Their attempts to shape the narrative met fierce resistance from tabloids that thrived on scandal. A week after Camilla's departure, rumors flew that she might quietly return by night, aiming to settle matters privately. Yet, she did not reappear, and each passing day fueled wilder theories. Some insisted she'd gone abroad, seeking solace among close friends. Others suggested she was at a remote estate, awaiting an apology from Charles. In truth, no one outside her inner circle knew her whereabouts. The palace continued issuing vague statements about private commitments, leaving the media in a frenzy. Charles carried on with scheduled engagements, greeting foreign dignitaries and championing causes he cared about. Observers noted the tiredness in his eyes and a brittle edge in his manner when reporters veiled personal questions and polite inquiries. While he didn't address the turmoil directly, his controlled exterior did little to quell mounting speculation. Advisors worried that this sustained tension, if unresolved, could erode the monarchy's standing. Within the palace, some officials still hoped for reconciliation. They whispered of carefully orchestrated mediations, possibly involving Prince William or Princess Catherine, or even a discreet meeting brokered by trusted family friends. Yet insiders also reported that Camilla would not consider returning unless Charles acknowledged her right to speak and the battles she had endured to stand beside him. Camilla's ring, perched on that table in Windsor Castle, took on even greater symbolism in the minds of royal observers. The monarchy thrives on ceremony and symbolic tokens. That heirloom embodied both her rightful place and her tenuous acceptance. Taking it away suggested Charles intended to revoke the legitimacy it once represented. Could that bond be restored? As more time passed, the public remained riveted, devouring each rumor of possible negotiations. Some believed Charles felt remorse, recalling the adversity they'd overcome to marry. Others insisted he was resolute, unwilling to bend after such a public challenge. A few speculated that any eventual reunion would be meticulously stage-managed, resulting in an official photo-op and measured statements about unity and lessons learned. Days stretched into weeks, and a hush settled over Windsor Castle. Official remarks from palace spokespeople remained formulaic, while tabloids dug for any clue of contact between Charles and Camilla. Some insisted that personal pride and heartbreak prevented a simple fix. Others believed the monarchy's survival instincts would force them toward a resolution, if only to keep the institution from being tarnished by constant scandal. Eventually, whispers of a possible meeting began circulating. Some speculated that Charles and Camilla might reconcile behind closed doors, forging a private accord. Others said Camilla was steadfast in her demand for respect, a request that confronted not only Charles, but the entire framework of royal tradition. If a reconciliation did occur, it would likely be carefully choreographed, presented to the public as an affectionate reunion. But would that quell lingering doubts, especially after such a public rift? For now, the ring remained absent from Camilla's finger, a potent reminder of the monarchy's fragility. Even the strongest institutions can fracture under the weight of personal conflict. While the crown's pomp and ceremony endure, the raw emotions driving these individuals cannot be so easily tamed. Outside the palace gates, opinions stayed as divided as ever. Some Britons felt sympathy for Charles, believing he was fighting to protect a precarious institution. Others saw Camilla's act of defiance as refreshing, perhaps necessary for a monarchy that must adapt to survive. Social media buzzed with heated debates, with many observers suggesting this drama was a testament to the unrelenting public fascination with the royals. Love them or loathe them, the world cannot turn away. In the end, only time would reveal whether this rupture marked a momentary upset or a permanent shift. Would Camilla ever slip that ring back into her finger, standing beside Charles as she had through countless storms? Or had his fury opened a rift too deep to mend? Although the monarchy has withstood centuries of upheaval, it remains vulnerable to the universal truths of marriage, misunderstandings, betrayal, and reconciliation, or the lack thereof. For now, Windsor Castle stands as silent witness to it all, its ancient walls steeped in centuries of power struggles and personal tragedies. A single blow-up behind closed doors has once again exposed the precarious intersection of the royal institution and the human heart. Duty may compel a resolution, but pride and emotion will have their say. In that hush, staff continue their tasks with heightened care, as if the entire palace holds its breath, waiting for the next turn in a drama that could define King Charles's reign. And there you have it, the untold story behind one of the most shocking nights in recent royal memory. Is this a mere chapter in a larger saga, or the turning point in King Charles's reign? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching today. If you found this video informative, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive updates and royal revelations. Until next time. For now, Windsor Castle stands as silent witness to it all, its ancient walls steeped in centuries of power struggles and personal tragedies. A single blow-up behind closed doors has once again exposed the precarious intersection of the royal institution and the human heart. Duty may compel a resolution, but pride and emotion will have their say. In that hush, staff continue their tasks with heightened care, as if the entire palace holds its breath, waiting for the next turn in a drama that could define King Charles's reign. And there you have it, the untold story behind one of the most shocking nights in recent royal memory. Is this a mere chapter in a larger saga, or the turning point in King Charles's reign? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching today. If you found this video informative, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive updates. Until next time.